A very good morning to you from wherever you're watching us, and welcome to the Candid Talk. My name is Evans Okinyi, and this is Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Well, joining me to dissect and understand the politics of Nairobi City County is none other than Professor Herman Manyora himself. Prof, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Evans.
Well, Prof, today I would like us to focus on the politics of the city.
047.
047.
Yes.
Nairobi itself.
Correct.
It has proved to be one of the toughest kind of political schemes in the country. Why?
The problem is structural.
Yes.
There was no point. And I don't know where they borrowed from, because it's not anywhere. I doubt there's any place it works like that. Nairobi cannot be a county like Vihiga or Kirinyaga.
Yes.
No, it's a special area. Yeah. You see, a special area.
A special area.
Not a county. Managed perhaps by some authority or by the national government with a strong mayor or something like that. So when we put it at par with other counties, then we are creating for ourselves a big problem.
So with the advent of devolution and Nairobi being gazetted as one of the counties in this country, you see that as a mistake in the first place?
Wrong. And we must look at it quickly. We must move Nairobi from within the arrangement of devolved units, so that it is a special area. And then how we'll administer it, how it will be governed, how will it operate is a subject of discussion. What is not a subject of discussion and can never be a subject of discussion is to put Nairobi together with something like Kisumu County or some of these small counties, or Tharaka County. No, never. That we shall not discuss. What we shall discuss, once we leave it, the other 6 remain counties. How do we treat Nairobi? Administratively and otherwise. That can be discussed. Yeah.
Being the capital city, Nairobi actually attracts a lot of political interest, investment, and a number of factors actually play within the city here in terms of its administration and so on and so forth, Prof. And the other time we saw the estranged Governor Mike Sonko, the former governor of Nairobi County. It reached a point where he was actually impeached. And then we saw the introduction of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services.
Yes.
Are you trying to allude to the fact that perhaps you would prefer some sort of a managerial system like the NMS?
It doesn't have to be NMS. I've said what it will be, we shall discuss. What we cannot discuss, and what surprises me that it was not seen, is the fact of putting Nairobi together with other counties at par. It's instant. That's why you can't run this seat as a governor, even if you try. However good you are, the interests are different. This is the country. This is Kenya. Nairobi is Kenya, and Kenya is Nairobi. You can't put it at par with the Siaya County. How? That's very little thinking, if any. I think I blame the people who did this thing. They shouldn't have allowed that to happen.
Prof, some people have termed Nairobi as perhaps being governed by a caretaker kind of a governor, because they're saying that Nairobi na wenyewe, and those who are running Nairobi are not even the governors who are elected here.
The interests in Nairobi are huge. The cartels are many. And you don't know how high the cartels go. That's where the problem is. You may think you want to deal with them, only for you to realize, if you didn't know, if you are naive, that some of these cartels have connections very high up there. Hardly surprising. So you need to manage it with all that in mind. But if you think it can be a county, then you give it a governor, the governor will be frustrated.
So for you, you see that Nairobi, the management of Nairobi City should be taken back to the national government?
Yeah, not national. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what it will be, who will manage it. That is something we can discuss.
But it should not be included
No,
in the
it cannot be at par with Migori County, no. Okay. Where you come from?
Why would you mention my county? Of course, that is one of the greatest counties that we have around here.
Yeah, the great Migori County.
No, Prof. This county has approximately more than 2 million votes. Yes. And we can see most, if not all of the front runners in this election are actually geared towards seeking the 2.2 million votes that are there in Nairobi. Basically, from where your point, or from where you stand as a political analyst, whom do you see is going to garner a lot of votes from Nairobi? Is it the Azimio side, or is it the Kenya Kwanza side, and perhaps you may highlight some of the factors that will play in and will ensure, because definitely Nairobi is going to play a very vital role in ensuring who takes the leadership of this country.
Because I can forget now, you know, I'm an old man. Let me just clear one point.
Yes.
We give Nairobi money to run Nairobi. Then we give Turkana money to run Turkana. But when you give Turkana money to run Turkana, that money goes to Turkana. And the governor uses on Turkana people of Turkana County. When you give the governor of Nairobi money, he doesn't spend that money on Nairobi people. The number of people who are not Nairobians, who are in Nairobi every single day, you know, they are Kiambu people, Kajiado people, wherever, people on transit. You are from Mombasa, you are going to Kisumu, you sleep in Nairobi. As you sleep, you breathe Nairobi air. You need Nairobi services. It is to be unfair to Nairobi. Because Nairobi is not catering for Nairobi residents. Nairobi is catering more. There are more people non-Nairobians than Nairobians on any single day. You understand that?
Yes, I
So that is the folly of making Nairobi be at par with other countries, be given money as if the money will be for Nairobi people alone, when there are more non-Nairobians passing here, sleeping here one night, coming every day and going back to their homes, and they are not counted as Nairobians. Now, to your question, Nairobi is tricky when it comes to elections.
Yes.
But what normally happens in Nairobi since 2013 has always been that the governor who wins is the governor whose side of the political divide has more votes in Nairobi. In 2013, Kidero won because Raila always has an upper hand in Nairobi. He goes beyond the 50% mark.
Okay, Prof, before we go to the gubernatorial section, please kindly allow me understand
Yes.
the presidential election first of all, because Nairobi will let him.
you are talking about presidential.
Yeah, I want us to begin with the presidential.
Okay.
Yeah.
So presidential election, the same. In 2007, 2013, and 2017. Nairobi certainly. I'm not so sure about the figures of 2007, but I'm sure of 2013 and 2017. Raila has always had an edge over his opponent. And in the last three elections, that has been Kibaki, Uhuru. Yes. Now, whether that can change may be a little tricky. Because there are certain dynamics that part of the Raila support, which is Luya, could follow Mudavadi to UDA. That is something you must take account for. However minimal. I know people from Azimio think there's nothing. I know there is something. Some Luyas will vote with Mudavadi in UDA.
Yes.
But you must also account for something else. That however minimal Uhuru's influence is on the mountain, he will reap some percentage for Raila in Mount Kenya. That will cascade down to Nairobi. So there will be people in Nairobi who are Kikuyu, who should ideally be within Jubilee and the former Jubilee, and therefore with William Ruto, the way the mountain is supposed to be. But to the extent that some of these people are listening to Uhuru Kenyatta, they will certainly vote for Raila. So when you balance out, you see that Raila will still take a lead. And all opinion polls so far have placed him ahead, including the ones from his opponents. They agree Raila is ahead. By how much may be a little tricky, because I do not know for sure how much influence Uhuru will have on the Kikuyu in Nairobi. I know he will have influence. I don't know how much. I don't know how much influence Mudavadi will have on the Luya. I know it's little, but how little that little can be, I'm not so sure. Yeah.
Now, Prof, it's been something that has been said over there by the Azimio side that Jogola Shambani hawezi wika mjini.
Yes.
Specifically referring to the deputy president.
Yes.
And saying that definitely can't get any realistic numbers in the city. Do you agree with that statement?
It is supposed to be so, but you know, William is a wizard. He's a smart politician. Even me, I never thought. Let me ask you. Let me tell you. Let me own up. Yes. Even in my wildest imagination, and as a person who understands politics, I never thought Ruto could pull the numbers in Nairobi. So when he began doing it, he began with the river. I said, that is outskirts. When he was able to do it in Nairobi, I said, hey, this guy is tough. So, Jogola shamba litawika mjini. Lakini litawika kwa sauti hafifu. Because Jogoo lenyewe ni Raila Odinga. So this other nakajaribu kuwika kana umwa kidogo na Raila, but he will have numbers. he will have numbers. He will not have anything. Unless there's a stampede towards Uhuru by the mountain people in the remaining 4 days or so, he could still get up to 40%.
And there's also claimed that he doesn't know how the city politics is run. He's never vied for anything with him.
You think Ruto is a tough politician, my friend. Ruto is not a pushover. If you thought Ruto was a pushover, how has he survived these 4 years fighting the system and is still standing? No, we have to give credit to where it is due.
Okay. Now, Prof, will this trickle down now to the gubernatorial race? The influence of the presidential candidates?
On the face of it, naturally, yes. However, so far, what we have seen on the ground is different. So far. With 4 days to go, Sakaja is on everybody's lip. You know me, I understand the politics of this country. I get it wrong once in a while. Like when I got it that Ruto could not shake Nairobi. I was wrong there because he has managed to do so. So the name on almost everybody's lips, without exception, apart from the Raila diehard, completely diehard, who knows that Raila is supporting Igade. But that may not go very much beyond the Luos. They are so far with Sakaja. So in other words, if elections were being just held this morning as I talk to you, Sakaja would win by a whooping 60% or 65%. But that's not how politics works, unfortunately. Because we would have expected all Raila people to vote Igade. Then he will have a clear advantage. So far, Raila hasn't made that to appear to happen. But remember, Raila has a major rally. In this major rally, then that could come out. Because Raila could simply say, I'm very happy that you people have turned up in large numbers. As opinion polls show, we are headed for victory. Indeed, we have walked across the country and we are winning this election. But how are you expecting me to run this country with a stranger at City Hall as a governor? Then you are not being realistic. You are not helping me at all. In order to help Nairobi people, I need a governor I can sit down with. We have breakfast in State House every 2-3 days, every week. That can't be Sakaja. That can only be Igade. A governor who can pick his phone and call me. This is required. And I order quick, immediate intervention. That can quickly tilt the scales against Sakaja. Secondly, I am not so optimistic about the Kikuyu vote for Sakaja.
Yes.
I'm not very optimistic. You know, I live in this country and I know how tribal we are. The Kikuyus have always wanted to control Nairobi. 2013, they were unable.
Yes.
2017, Sonko akawawahi. You see? And they say grudgingly, because now the second best thing was Jubilee. When PK could not make it because of the hot politics in Jubilee that time, and Uhuru needed to be re-election. So he had to play along, and Sonko was smarter than them. So they knew you were going to lose. So they accepted grudgingly. They accepted Sonko. So I don't think Kikuyus will want again, 2022, this thing to slip away from their fingers. Especially when they have the support of Raila Odinga. You know, for that reason, if I am Sakaja, I will not be so sure of the Kikuyu vote in Nairobi. I will not be very sure. But Sakaja could be lucky because there's not much time left to do some of these things I'm saying. But for Raila, he doesn't need more than 1 day. It doesn't need more than one rally in Nairobi. And people just go talking about Igade. But for the Kikuyu, I don't know how the Murang'a business community has played out this thing. I don't know how Uhuru Kenyatta is playing out, because this is his candidate. So if they have their own way of reaching the Kikuyu voter, Sakaja will not get even 35% of the vote of Nairobi. Yes.
Now, Prof, before the Supreme Court thwarted Sonko's dreams to vie in Mombasa County,
yes,
he was actually cleared by the High Court. And perhaps he saw some sort of a green light of him vying, being given that chance to vie. And then we saw him shake hands with the president,
Yes, yes.
Babuin, and so on and so forth. And people were like, no, there could be some sort of an agreement here that perhaps Sonko would use his influence now that he was in Azimio to support Igathe.
Yes.
So that Igathe could easily win the Nairobi city gubernatorial position.
Yes.
Now that Sonko is on the other side with William Ruto and Johnson Sakaja, do you think that Sakaja has now an upper hand of winning this?
Naturally, yes. And on the face of it, yes. But I've told you, that is not how politics works. Yeah. You appear to have the numbers on paper. When the voting comes, things have changed. There are dynamics, there are other considerations. Kikuyus may be very happy with Sakaja. But once the wave will be that we must take this thing for ourselves. From 2013, we missed it. This is our time to take it. We must control this city. The Kikuyus will forget Sakaja and vote for Igathe.
So if Kikuyus rally behind Igathe,
Yes, then
Raila diehard supporters rally behind him,
the game is gone.
then the Kamba vote brought by the
Deputy governor.
the
The game is gone.
and the game is gone.
And it's time for hard bargaining. Whatever positions Igathe and his people had denied Kalonzo and the Kamba community in Nairobi, this is time to give in. If they had wanted to give ODM speaker, this is the time to give the Kamba the speaker. Because this thing is gone. They can see it. It is gone. Sakaja will run away with it. So hard bargaining is now taking place. I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure that's how it should be. Although Kenyan politicians sometimes, I can't predict them.
So it all goes back to tribal politics. That is what will play
Tribal
out.
politics, and Igathe will win.
Okay.
With 4 days, I can tell you, look at you in the eyes of three or 4 days, I can tell you Igathe will carry this thing. That you can take to the bank.
Okay. Would you comment something about the senatorial contest? Is it a walkover for Edwin
That one,
Sifuna?
there's no contest. That one is that one is no contest. That one, Nairobi has a senator already in the name of my son Sifuna. That one is not a contest. Even if he took a holiday,
You don't see.
even if he didn't campaign, how will you win? The entire Azimio is voting for him. That is enough. He doesn't need anything else. The Luyas, even if they are in UDA, the few in UDA, they'll vote for Sifuna. So Sifuna is already home and dry. And he's a hard-working young man, a little erratic here and there, and I've tried to tell him to tone down. But the energy, the young blood is... But the intelligence in Sifuna
the same Sifuna was beaten by Sakaja the other time.
You know, again, you look at it, look at the tribal arithmetics. Sakaja is, Sifuna is a Luya. Is that right? And Sakaja has been presented as a Luya, more so that time. And he got support from none other than Atoli, for example, who said, Sakaja is my son. Many people from the Luya community were for Sakaja. Sifuna was a newcomer in Nairobi politics. Sakaja had been known being the Secretary General of TNA, Uhuru's party. So he had a higher profile than Sifuna. So the Luya certainly deserted NASA, deserted Raila, and voted for their son. So Sakaja had to win. There was no way Sifuna was going to win that election. It was going to be very, very difficult. Again, remember, that year is the year of Ifaranga, your computer. So Sifuna could also have won, but the manipulation of the elections could have given it to...
So he could have been a victim of the same.
Yeah.
As well.
But certainly, I think that was not his year.
Right
This
now.
is his year. And there's no young man in this country with a brighter future than Sifuna. Because he doesn't even need to wait for 2032. If he wants to be governor, he'll just be governor in 2027. But in the interest of coalition politics, working with brothers and sisters from the other sides, Sifuna will be the governor of Nairobi in 2032.
So according to
I have no doubt about it.
According to you, Nairobi already has a senator.
Nairobi has a senator for 10 years. Nairobi has a governor for 10 years. Nairobi has a governor in Sifuna from 2032. Yes.
comment something finally on the women rep position?
The women rep, there's no contest. Esther Passaris is already women rep. She has won it hands. She's Kikuyu, or a quarter of it or half of it if you wish. So again, the Kikuyus who vote for Igade may also vote for Passaris. She's a darling of the ODM fraternity. So how can somebody beat Passaris? Where Nani? Omanga Helen.
So Millicent Omanga.
They can't even get. Passaris will get over 60% of the votes. So she's already women rep. Nairobi is already. Nairobi is gone for. I think for UDA, Kenya Kwanza doesn't have anything in Nairobi. Even the MPs are divided between ODM and ODM and Jubilee. There is nothing for them. Even people like Harvey in Westlands, they are wasting their time. Tim Wanyonyi will take for ODM. There is nowhere in Nairobi. I'm not seeing a city in Nairobi which UDA will take. Maybe. Babu Wino has been very careful. That one is the most serious one. And the one that was previously occupied by Sumura. No, that one will go to Wiper. So Azimio has all the seats in Nairobi. Almost without exception. So I'm not seeing how UDA, my councillors, MP maybe one, but I haven't quite looked at it. But an MP, women rep for UDA, none. They don't have. From governor down to MPs, they don't have. This is an Azimio home.
So for you, the Azimio wave has taken over the city?
Everything. Azimio is running the city of Nairobi.
So,
for that reason, I can't, when I close my eyes, trying to see how Sakaja can be governor of Nairobi, I don't see it. But now, as we speak, everybody is talking about Sakaja. That is the tragic thing about politics.
But you don't want to imagine that in your wildest dreams, Sakaja beating Igade?
No, why? I have nothing against Sakaja. I'm just saying how I know this politics. These Kikuyus are lying to Sakaja, they will vote for Igade.
Just a call from
Raila
Baba.
needs just to hire in Kasarani. And Kwisha, these people will vote for Igade.
And it's done.
That's how it is.
Okay.
If Sakaja won, I'll be happy, it's my son.
Well, Prof, thank you so much for finding time to attend to this show. Well, it is a good point of wrapping up this conversation. But as usual, before we wrap it all, Prof, we are still making a clarion call and a request to all our viewers outside there that they may kindly find time to subscribe to our channel so that whenever we upload any content, then YouTube will definitely automatically notify them and that they may be able to get each and everything that we actually produce from this channel.
That's true.
Definitely. With 3 or less days remaining to the election, what is your final word to the electorate?
Peace, peace, peace. You need your brother, you need your neighbor, and your neighbor is your brother. Don't allow an election to divide you as Kenyans. Peace, peace, dayo.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Prof. Well, allow me to stop at that point, but please don't forget to subscribe and then also tune in to our programs. We have Jadil Kabiro Live. There is the big question. We have Rakim Kimutai Kennedy taking us all the way to the public opinion. And then we have Richard Mwenje coming here with Siasa Brigade and Business Glide, all on Herman Manyora's channel. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Evans Okenye.